Hi artists, we are going to do another project with foreground, middle ground, background. I am hammering that home so we will remember it. So you should have a paper that looks like this. If you don't have one and you are going to school, you can get one the next time you're at school. If you don't have one and you are remote, you can actually make yourself one very easy just by taking a blank paper, splitting it into thirds, 1, 2, 3. So you just draw a line, draw a line. In the center, you're going to make a couple of lines. It's kind of a couple zigzaggy and then a top. Makes you think of like house tops or chimney. And on the left line, you're gonna make some hoppy lines. That makes you think of bushes. That's it. I now have this exact thing. Okay, it's not exact, but it's close. You get the idea. I will put this on Google Classroom. If you have a printer, you can print it, or you can look at it to draw your own. So the first thing that we're gonna do when you have a paper that looks like this is we're gonna do some cutting. We haven't done any cutting together. Do we remember how to cut carefully? I hope so. We're gonna flip our paper upside down. So what this kind of looks like now is clouds and a big M. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it looks like an M to me. So we're gonna cut the vertical lines, the up and down lines first, but don't cut all the way. Stop when you get to another line. Stop when you get to another line. The reason I'm doing that is because we're not cutting this all apart. So I cut weird. I like pieces to fall out, so I cut so they will fall out. I cut, and I am literally just cutting on the light gray lines or my pencil lines if I drew it. My hands are shaky today. I'm not sure why. I must be nervous about cutting. I haven't cut for so long. So that's my first, let me get these out of the way. That's my first cut. My second cut is on this side. This is tough, artists. This is a tough line to cut, not gonna lie. So I'm going across first and down. I wanna get that big piece off of there and then go back and cut this. Yeah, it's a lot of paper turning. It's tough to do it well, but please try to do it well. Try not to, see what I mean about paper turning? Try not to just do it sloppy, because the better you cut, the better your picture is gonna look. You'll see what I mean in a minute. See, even I'm not doing a great job. It's not easy. Challenging cutting, but you know I like to challenge you guys. And I always recommend as you're cutting that you go at different angles and let the paper do the work. Let the paper fall out. I just think that's easier. Turning your paper, letting it fall out. And there you go. All right, second step after we have cut. You may already have this figured out. It kind of makes sense in your brain. But if you don't, here's what you do. You fold the first one over. You line it up at the bottom and you crease it. This one, you do not fold over because you would just be covering it up. You fold it back. So I like to flip it over. Line it up. Oh my goodness, I'm having a hard time lining this one up for some reason. There we go. Goodness, that was a struggle. This Kerber's on the struggle bus today. Now we have foreground, middle ground, and background. So now it's your job to turn this into a landscape. So you already have like kind of bushes. Like, are these going to be trees? Are they going to be bushes? Is it going to be grass? Is it going to be a pile of something? You have to decide what's in the front. Then you have to decide what this is. Is it one house? Is it several buildings? Is it a city? Now think about that, because if I have bushes and then I have these tall city buildings, that might not make much sense. I don't know. Then what's back here? There has to be something in the background. Is there just a giant tree? Is there something way far away over here? I'm not really going to show you anything right now. I'm going to let you start before I start mine. So I drew mine, and I learned some things as I was drawing. Number one, I learned that I couldn't put anything down here because then when I closed it, it didn't make sense. Number two, I don't think this path is going to make much sense. Even though I like the idea of it, I like the idea of a path, the way that I had it didn't really make sense for my scene, my landscape. So I'm going to put it through there and still put some flowers or something around there. Now, you don't have to have a ton of detail. Erase that rock too, because that kind of doesn't make sense. We'll put it down a little bit lower. You don't have to have a ton of detail to get the idea. This is in front, this is in middle, this is in back. Now I'm going to go to color. You can use whatever you want to color. You can use crayons, markers, colored pencils, paint, whatever you have, whatever you want. You can use to color. I'm going to do mine now. Artists, one thing that I've noticed as I've been coloring is that sometimes I have it open, sometimes I have it closed, sometimes I have to turn it over. I mean, there's different ways. Ooh, I forgot some of my bricks. There's different ways to color and it works differently. So I can't tell you like always keep it closed or always keep it open. You have to figure out what works best for you. But I think you can see it's starting to come together great. I'm gonna keep going. And there you have it. It's all colored. I have my foreground, my middle ground, and my background, all one complete picture. Please notice that I had to do some things lining up here. I had to work on that when it was closed. I colored it first when it was open, but then when it was closed, I had to do a little bit of matching. You might have to do that. I had to fill in some more grass here because the edge of the house was, it just looked white. Take your time on these, artists. They can look fabulous if you will take your time.